So if you know my story, then you know I went from being broke, depressed, anxious, lonely, to now running a profitable online business, building the body of my dreams, finding a loving and fulfilling relationship. I destroyed all social anxiety and became a very confident guy. I truly built for myself the life I had always wanted. The funny thing is that people meet me today, they see me as I currently am, but none of them have a clue what life was like for me just a couple years ago. So if they met me today and they met me now, they would swear they just came across two different people. That is how different I am nowadays. And when I tell you that back then I was at an all-time low, I'm not exaggerating things. I literally used to sleep in a basement infested with rats in the summer because it would get so warm inside the house, like over 30 degrees Celsius. So I'd get so paranoid because of the rats, I didn't want them to bite me during my sleep. So all around my bed, I would put some time, I'd literally sleep with the lights on, and I would simply wear an eye mask. So I went from that to sleeping in the best hotels in the world. And I went from being in a car worth no more than $20,000 to some of the best cars in the world. Cars worth more than most people's houses. So how's that possible? How'd you go from being nothing to having what most people only dream of having? Is it just all luck? And as a kid, I was bullied. People made fun of me for like the most stupidest things. And because of traumatic experiences in my past, I developed crippling social anxiety. It got so bad, I couldn't even leave my parents' house. I would stay inside all the time, not getting enough sunlight, enough vitamin D. So then I went on to develop a vitamin D deficiency. I remember at some point, I was sick and tired of my situation. I was sick and tired of being lonely, broke, depressed, miserable, of being scared of the outside world, of literally being afraid of picking up the phone and making a call. So I forced myself to get out of my comfort zone every single day. I went outside for the first time in like months, and I sent my best friend a video of me walking outside and a picture of the woods. And I remember his reaction. He was all like, "Oh my god, you went outside. Congrats, brother. That is a huge step forward." And I took a screenshot of the WhatsApp conversation because I knew that was massive. I mean, to me it was pathetic not even being able to leave the house. I knew one day in the future for some reason I would need that screenshot because I'd tell my story. Not to brag because that's pointless, I don't care, but to inspire others. You might be at rock bottom right now and you think, how can I ever become successful? Well, if I did it, what excuses do you have? I didn't invent myself a tragic backstory just so you'd relate to me. I'm telling you the raw, unfiltered truth, my life exactly as it was. So I am living proof it's possible to completely transform your life and to make your craziest dreams come true. So my goal with this video is to show you how, because you might relate to lots of parts of my story and you will see if I could do it, why couldn't you? In high school, I remember at some point we were just doing push-ups and the PE teacher said something that really stuck with me. She said it's so mental, we could push harder. And I've heard that phrase many times in my life, especially when it comes to sports. Now I'm not like those delusional people who think that anyone can become the next Michael Jordan, because let's face it, luck, circumstances, and even genetics in the case of sports play a huge part. They will be a determining factor when it comes to whether you can become extremely successful, extremely good at a sport, or if you can't. Studies have discovered that most pro hockey players are born in January. You may wonder why. It's because they were able to go through a growth spurt, to go through puberty, so to get taller, to develop more muscle mass faster than the other players born, let's say, in December or in the later months of the year. So could you control what month you're born? Obviously not. So that really comes down to luck, to pure circumstances. Like if you're 4'11", you want to become the next Michael Jordan, it's gonna be complicated, but why couldn't you be a better basketball player than you currently are? Of course you could. You can always do better than what you're currently doing. A lot of the time, we want to be perfect. We want to strive for perfection, but we simply fool ourselves because perfection is not real. Like, what is even perfection? Can you tell me? If a couple years from now, if you don't look back at your younger self, cringing a little bit, then it means you haven't evolved. You didn't become better. So if you look back at your past and you hate it, you're dissatisfied with what you did, you think you could have done better, then that's actually great news. It means you have evolved. It's proof that you are in fact doing better. I personally believe in continual self-improvement, but the truth is, growth only happens as long as you intend for it. It's like going to the gym. You're not gonna build more muscle if you don't intend for it to happen. The same is true with business. You won't make more money, sign more customers, become more successful unless you put the right strategies in place and you do what you need to do for months and for years. But you always need to evolve to get better, because the moment you become complacent, you rest on your laurels, you're satisfied with your current level of success, well, guess what? A hungry competitor is willing to learn, to do better, to improve. He's gonna destroy you. And that's typically why you see lots of people climbing to the top of the top, but then they fall off the mountain. Why? Because they became complacent, because they listened to their egos. They started to think, oh, I'm better than anyone else, no one will bring me down ever. And then that's exactly what happens. So to change my life, I had to reset my brain for success, to become a completely different version of myself. Because think about this, your life that you experience right now, it's been created by all the small decisions that you've made in the past. It all added up to create your present circumstances. So really ask yourself, what kind of future am I currently building for myself? Every single day, are you doing things that will give you the life that you want? If you want to build a profitable business, but you never actually work on it, what are you expecting? It won't happen on its own. If you want to build a great body, but you never actually exercise, you're always eating junk food, never paying attention to your sleep, do you think it's gonna magically happen on its own? It won't. It's only people who do the right thing and who do it for a long time without ever giving up. These people, they get everything and more. But a lot of people, they wait for circumstances to magically change. They wait to get a promotion. They wait to get noticed instead of actually doing what it takes to get noticed. They wait for motivation to come to them. And then, of course, later when they have that motivation, they'll go to the gym. At least that's the story that they tell themselves. But those are only white lies. It's your brain's way of tricking you into not taking action, into staying in your comfort zone. Your brain couldn't care less about you reaching your goals. All it wants to do is to maintain you alive. It's not striving for greatness. Honestly, do you want to know the number one reason why people don't reach their goals? It's not because they lack the intelligence, the talent, the willpower. It's because they have beliefs which are not serving them. Back then, I didn't trust myself. I didn't believe I could achieve more. I didn't see myself as someone who worked hard, so I never was. The life that you experience, your reality, it's only gonna change when you change yourself internally, because no one is gonna show up one day, give you $1 million to thank you for existing. No one is gonna one day show up and give you the body of your dreams on a silver platter, the love of your life. You're gonna have to earn these things. So if you've got the wrong beliefs, if you see yourself as a loser, yet you want to become successful, you see yourself as undisciplined, yet you dream of being disciplined, well, guess what is gonna happen? Either you won't even start, you won't even take action, or if you do, you'll put in such a weak effort, you won't get any results. It's gonna be extremely disappointing. You'll tell yourself, oh, but I'm trying. But really, how hard are you trying? But not just that, even if you take action, if you've got the wrong beliefs which are limiting you, not serving you, you'll take a step forward, then you'll take 2 steps back. You will always be stuck in this endless cycle of self-sabotage. That is exactly what happened to me for the longest time. I was trying to make progress, but because I had the wrong beliefs, because I couldn't see myself as someone who was worthy of achieving the things that I wanted to achieve, then I kept self-sabotaging myself. A part of me truly believed I could do it. A part of me truly wanted to become more successful, to build the body of my dreams, to build a profitable business. So I would take action, but then the other part of me, he didn't believe in himself, so he would just self-sabotage everything. When he had been following his diet, hitting the gym consistently, then he'd go and eat a whole bunch of garbage, undo all of his progress. When he had been working consistently on his business, then for a month he wouldn't work at all. Limiting beliefs is exactly the reason why I procrastinated starting the business that changed my life for more than 7 months. I kid you not. I was so afraid of taking on sales calls, I believed I would be rejected, humiliated again, just like during my childhood. So my brain, it was only trying to protect me by preventing me from starting that business. But what if I had listened to my brain forever? Nothing would have ever changed in my life. Everything right now would be exactly like what it was back then. In other words, hell. Now this doesn't mean that you should try to convince yourself you are someone new entirely without actually changing anything about your life. That's what the law of attraction fanatics try to do. They think that if they stand in front of the mirror every single day, repeating a bunch of affirmations, then they will become successful. They will just quote-unquote manifest it. And that's how sometimes, people end up having these 2-hour-long morning routines that don't actually serve them. If you want to build a profitable business, to live a life of true freedom, of true abundance, journaling, meditating, having a 2-hour-long morning routine, it might help, but it won't make you successful. They're good habits for sure, but sometimes just grabbing a cup of tea or of coffee and getting straight to work, it's actually 1,000 times more effective. So in my own experience, there is a much better way to go about transforming yourself. You want to do an action and then use that action as proof, as confirmation that you are someone new. So instead of going to the gym to get fit, go to the gym because you are the type of individual who has healthy habits. You are a fit individual, and it's only a matter of time before in the mirror that is your reality. It's only a matter of time before you lose the 20 pounds you've been wanting to lose forever. Just like it's only a matter of time before you add those 15 pounds of muscle you've been dreaming of for so long. Now I'll be honest, it might take a while to get used to a new identity, a new way of thinking and of behaving. So whereas back then I barely exercised, nowadays at 7:30 sharp, I'm exercising every single day. I rarely miss a workout. Like the only time I actually miss a workout, it's because I'm traveling all day or I'm so sick I can't even will myself to exercise. But that's pretty much it. And that comes from a guy who wasn't disciplined at all. I became the paragon of discipline, whereas back then I couldn't work for a month straight after working for 3 days full time. So if your beliefs create your reality, what this means is that the more limiting beliefs you have, the less opportunities you will actually notice. So you need to reprogram your mind to be able to perceive these new opportunities. Now you may be wondering, well, how am I supposed to do that exactly? By finding information that shows you maybe you were wrong. To give an example, let's say you're a short guy and you think that because of it, you can't find love, you can't get dates. Find the evidence of a short guy who was able to find the love of his life, who was able to get dates. If you come from a middle class or low income family and you want to become extremely rich, extremely successful. Yet for some reason, you believe that you can't because of your circumstances. Find a proof that suggests otherwise. Do you really think there isn't at least one person in the whole world who had the same circumstances that you have right now, or even worse circumstances, and yet they became extremely successful? They made all of their dreams come true. Of course there is. So start showing your brain success stories of other people. Start showing your brain it is possible. I mean, growing up, I saw so many successful entrepreneurs online, and back then, there weren't that many actually. But more and more, I started to see more and more success stories. I would read books written by multi-millionaires and even billionaires, and that really opened up my mind to insane possibilities. Now nowadays, a lot of people realize that becoming successful, it's not about willpower or even intelligence. Rather, it's about your environment. If you wanted to lose 20 pounds, yet you are surrounded with obese people and all they do is eat a diet like Nico Caro avocado, well, I mean, it's gonna be difficult to lose the weight. You'll be tempted to eat what they eat, especially at first. Whereas if you were surrounded by fit people who exercise regularly, who eat very healthy, it would become extremely easy because you'd become just like them. At the end of the day, we truly are the average of the 5 people we spend most of our time with. So if you can surround yourself with the right people, you basically accelerate your success. In fact, you pretty much guarantee it. Now back then growing up, I had no mentors, like I couldn't access mentors physically. So I had to surround myself with high achievers by watching videos, by reading books. And that's exactly what I advise you to do if you don't have mentors at hand. But that's also why my team and I have created the Fastlane Club. It's a community of high achievers who work for a better life. So not only do you get access to a community of like-minded people, you also get access to dozens of courses on making money, on building a great body, on social skills, on discipline, on productivity, and etc. If you'd like to learn more about it, link in the description below. Now with that said, what are you waiting for? It's time to get to work.